we're still waiting to speak with authorities at this time, but what we are hearing is that 2 people have died as a result of a house fire here on Sheridan Street. NTSB officials just arriving to the scene minutes ago. Local police have been here all morning. I want to show you what's going on right now, though. As you can see, fencing has been erected in front of the 3 homes that suffered damage as a result of Tuesday's fiery plane crash. The New Jersey State Police have confirmed that 3 people have died as a result of this 2-car crash. Troopers first responded to the scene around 1:45 Friday morning, where they confirmed the fatalities. Now, as you can see, traffic is beginning to build up here on both the westbound and eastbound lanes of I-80. The 2 cars that were involved in the crash are completely destroyed. We want to show you what's going on right now. Take a look at all the smoke that's engulfed the Dunes Boardwalk Cafe, a building that locals say is an iconic staple to this Jersey Shore community. The mall is expected to open only a fraction of what it actually is, the 3 million square foot property, but thousands of people are expected to come to this complex, as we said, more than a dozen years in the making. Officials say from design to completion, the creation of each new balloon takes up to 9 months. The selection process is determined by popular demand, including longtime favorites such as Snoopy.
We're following breaking news out of Middlesex County this morning, where investigators are on the scene of a massive, deadly fire. Fios 1's Stephen Milewski joins us from there with the latest. Stephen.
Thanks, Christine. We're still waiting to speak with authorities at this time, but what we are hearing is that 2 people have died as a result of a house fire here on Sheridan Street. The fire started around 3:30 this morning in this quiet cul-de-sac of Jamesburg. Authorities from Jamesburg and other neighboring towns quickly responded once realizing just how heavy the fire was at this small home. The structure was destroyed as a result of the fire, including the roof partially collapsing. We spoke to one neighbor who tells us his dog was barking as he woke up and saw the blaze.
You can see the inside of the house from where I am. It just is completely leveled. You could just feel the flames like through the window on your face.
Abadrabo tells us 2 men live in the home, and he has yet to see them around the scene in the wake of the fire. In addition to the 2 people who have reportedly perished, a 3rd person was not immediately accounted for at the scene. It's unclear at this time if that person has been found, either dead or alive. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but Abadrabo's father Ibrahim tells us he doesn't think his neighbors had smoke alarms.
Very strange that, make you to learn for the future. If there is anything happen, you have to have a smoke alarm in the house to save your life. Must be they didn't have a smoke alarm or something in the house.
Both Ibrahim and Adam Abadrabo said they thought the fire was underway when first responders arrived.
I think the fire was burning for a while before anyone called it in or woke up, being the dead of night.
But Ibrahim believes nobody would have gotten out of the massive fire regardless.
No, I don't think so. With that kind of size flame they have, no way.
As you can see, the scene is still very active with plenty of investigators still on the scene. At this time, we are waiting on authorities to bring us the latest details, and as soon as they bring us those details, we will bring them straight to you. That's the latest here in Jamesburg. Stephen Milewski, Fios 1 News.
Okay, thanks, Jonathan. We begin tonight in Patterson with a possible viral exposure. State officials have confirmed that a grocery store worker had hepatitis A. Fios 1's Stephen Milewski has the details.
According to the New Jersey Department of Health, one food handler employed here at Brothers Produce in Patterson was confirmed to have hepatitis A, a dangerous viral liver disease. Officials say the employee had worked at the grocery store while infected between September 30th and October 5th. One customer tells us he comes to Brothers Produce every week, making him extremely concerned in the wake of this confirmed case.
Every week I come here to get all my food for home for the whole week, and it's spending almost $90 a week, and then throw it away. It's not so good.
The State Health Department recommends that any produce purchased from Brothers Produce between September 30th and October 5th should be thrown out. And if you've eaten any of the store's produce sold during that time span, you should ensure you are vaccinated as soon as possible. Hepatitis A is mainly spread through close person-to-person contact or via contaminated food. Symptoms typically include fever, poor appetite, and vomiting, among other illnesses. Customers we spoke to say the store has yet to inform its shoppers about the hepatitis case.
No, there is anything. I think that people don't know about it.
And they should be able to put signs up and warn people that there is an outbreak to happen out from this store.
The owner of Brothers Produce declined to speak on camera, saying the store has no plans to advise customers about the case, since the state has already made a public announcement. But Patterson Mayor Andre Saya, a customer of Brothers Produce himself, tells us the city is taking this situation very seriously.
We advise anyone that came into contact with any product from the farmers market, Brothers Produce and Farmers Market, that they come here.
As a result of the outbreak, the Patterson Health Department is providing vaccinations at their city offices for those without health insurance in order to prevent widespread illness. Patterson officials have also set up a hotline for residents who may be concerned about their health. And while shoppers we spoke to wondered if the city would look to close Brothers Produce because of this incident, Mayor Saya says that's not necessary at this time.
I think the appropriate action is that we've identified the individual and we inform the public what needs to be done if they've come into contact with him or the products.
Mayor Saya added that the city has used up its supply of vaccination doses Saturday morning due to a high demand, but that another shipment of 150 vaccination doses will be coming from the state by Wednesday. In Patterson, Stephen Milewski, Fios News.
Federal investigators back at the scene today of a deadly plane crash in Middlesex County. Fios 1 Stephen Milewski joins us live from Colonia with the latest. Stephen.
Thanks, Christine. As you mentioned, NTSB officials just arriving to the scene minutes ago. Local police have been here all morning. I want to show you what's going on right now, though. As you can see, fencing has been erected in front of the 3 homes that suffered damage as a result of Tuesday's fiery plane crash. The scene is under control Wednesday after a twin-engine Cessna 414 plane crashed directly into several homes in the Colonia section of Woodbridge Township.
That classic plane nosedive sound, that and then you heard a crash.
One house, 84 Berkeley Avenue, was directly hit as the plane made a 90-degree nosedive and is now destroyed. At least 2 other neighboring homes also suffered damage as a result of the fire caused by the crash.
The important thing is that no civilians on the ground were impacted or hurt, which is just terrific news.
No one in the neighborhood suffered any injuries, but the pilot, 74-year-old Dr. Michael Schloss, died as a result of the crash. According to the Federal Aviation Administration, the plane was en route from Virginia to Linden Airport, which is located just 4 miles away from the scene of the crash. Federal crash investigators say the pilot did not make any distress calls to air traffic control in Newark or Linden Airport officials in the moments before the crash.
Preliminary information shows that the pilot was communicating with air traffic control and was cleared for an approach into Linden Airport, and the airplane subsequently lost radar contact and lost communications with the airplane.
The official cause of the crash has yet to be determined. The National Transportation Safety Board does have a team of specialists who will be on the scene for the next few days to find out exactly what happened. Woodbridge Mayor John McCormick adds that a fundraising effort has been set up for the families whose homes have been affected. The township will be collecting donations for those families today through Friday at the Evergreen Senior Center. We're live in Colonia. Stephen Milewski, Fios 1 News. Bloodied faces, broken legs, and battered arms. No, these volunteer injuries are not real, but this emergency exercise at Newark Airport is critical for local authorities.
We bring them in several times a year to give them an airport orientation so they know the lay of the land here, and so they meet, as you said, face to face with the people they'll be dealing with, because you can't substitute for knowing the person you're going to be dealing with.
The Saturday exercise at Newark Airport is one of more than a dozen emergency simulations the Port Authority holds each year at its regional airports. The agency works with local city and county emergency management services to prepare as if it's a real crisis, with planes on fire, cars destroyed, and more than 150 volunteer actors who are listed with different types of injuries.
The exercise program is something that we take exceedingly serious because how you respond is how you train.
Officials say the volunteers play a vital role in showing how authorities can perform better during a crisis. A newer wrinkle is that several of the volunteers who participated in Saturday's exercise have disabilities. One volunteer we spoke to tells us how important it is to use the exercise as an opportunity to educate local authorities on how to best help those with disabilities in the middle of an emergency situation.
In a real-life emergency, there will be people with all types of disabilities on the airplane. I've traveled often myself, so it's our job and our goal to make sure that the first responders and law enforcement who are here today know how to properly assist them.
For Port Authority leadership, they hope exercises like these not only better their training, but also provide a valuable learning experience for local communities also taking part.
Technology changes, methods change, people change, techniques change. So for us to make sure that we're at the top of our game, not only for the Port Authority, but also for those who are going to come in and assist us, is we do this on a regular basis.
In Newark, Stephen Milewski, Fios News. School 6, School 8, and School 10 in Linden have each been named Apple Distinguished Schools, an honor from the tech giant that recognizes schools throughout the nation that focus on innovation and technology to help students excel. It's the second time School 6 and School 8 have been chosen as Apple Distinguished Schools after being selected in 2017. School 8 principal Michelle Rodriguez says the honor speaks to Linden's overall commitment to its district's students and staff.
I'm proud that Linden acknowledges that we go after these things and encourages us to go after these things. In other towns, perhaps they're using technology as a tool for instruction, but here it's really encouraged upon us to go out and seek out these opportunities for recognition, and that's because people value the recognition.
One of the main reasons these Linden schools have earned these distinctions is through the town's Technology One-to-One initiative. Through the program, each student is provided with an iPad tablet, and technology is mixed into the curriculum in math, language arts, social studies, and science. Linden School District also expanded its elementary technology curriculum within the last year, making it a standalone class for all students in pre-K through grade 5. School 6 principal William Mastriano says to earn the recognition, the schools each completed an iBook detailing how they've incorporated Apple technology into their classroom and the highly successful results it's yielded.
You're telling your school story through the technology. It's not just about using the technology, it's how we're innovating in the classroom, how we're pushing the barriers, how we're doing things that kids couldn't do things like without the technology in their hands before.
The recognition is also validation for school officials that the district is becoming a leader in coupling innovation with instruction. But School 10 principal David Walker says the Apple distinction isn't an endpoint. Instead, it serves as a motivator for district officials to continue to evolve.
Now it's even more reflection. What can we do better? How can we even go further? And I think that's where we rely on our teams, and we rely on our staff to be able to help even create more of that vision and what that looks like in moving ahead. I think it just starts now. We just keep moving forward.
The title is granted to each of the schools for the next 3 years through 2022. In Linden, Stephen Milewski, Fios News.